Spiritual healing from the Torah, Parashat Tavo. And this is about why the Mitzvah of Bikkurim, the first fruit offering, enable us to merit the land. So I just want to share with you that since last time that I went to on my international speaking tour, so many of my friends and supporters have made Aliyah. And there was 70,000 immigrants in year 2022, which was the largest number of Olim to arrive in 23 years. So I'm thinking that COVID-19 generated a paradigm shift where people really began to face their own mortality and contemplate of the purpose of life and what they really want to do in life and where they want to be in life. And so they realized that the true place, many realized, and many more, the true place for a Jew is to live in the promised land. Because there's something special in Israel that the physical becomes spiritual only in the land of Israel. And that's what it means where it says, a land in which you do not eat bread in measure, you will not be lacking anything in it. Devarim 8:9. Well, from here we learn that it's possible to get to a level in the land of Israel where wealth and even luxury won't damage our spiritual perfection. Actually, on the contrary, it will help us to get close, to raise us and elevate us in the spiritual path of Hashem. And this is based on Rav Kook in his book Ein Ayah on Brachot 6:15. So I also wanted to share that since our temple has been destroyed, it seems to me that our, body and soul has been very disintegrated. There's been a very big gap between body and soul. And it's only since in the last 75 years or so, even more rapidly, I experienced it myself in my own time, that we're so involved in body-soul integration, body, mind, and soul. And I believe that it is connected with the fact that we now have the Holy Land, the land where body and soul become one. It's now being redeemed by the Jewish people who are on most of the land. There's still more to redeem. And so we can really experience when we live here that every tree, every flower, every fruit is holy. And I'm looking now from my window behind my computer, and I can see my neighbor's holy grapevines winding themselves along our laundry line on the backdrop of the most brilliant, bluest sky, even as it's becoming evening here. Yes, in Israel, in the land of Israel, heaven and earth are truly one. So we still have to understand why specifically the mitzvah of Bikkurim, the first fruit offering, is what enables us to merit the land of Israel. So usually we read Parashat Tavo at the beginning of the fig harvest, and I didn't have time to go down there, but I look forward tomorrow morning to harvest a nice bunch for my breakfast and maybe the next few breakfasts. So it specifically fig is mentioned in relationship with Bikkurim. A person goes down into his field and sees a fig that has ripened. He winds a reed around it for a sign and declares, "This is Bikkurim, the first fruit." This is from the Rashi on our Parashat, Dvarim 26:2. We're excitedly awaiting the time to be able to perform this mitzvah from the Torah with the shiny fruits of our labor. And here goes the Pasuk. the beginning of Parashat Tavo, Perek Kavav, Pasuk Aleph and Bet. V'haya ki Tavo el haaretz asher Hashem Elokecha noten lecha. It shall be when you come to the land that Hashem your God gives you, Nachala, gives you as an inheritance, V'yirashta, V'yashavta ba, and you shall possess it and settle in it. V'lakachta mireshit kol pri ha'adama, you should take from the beginning of every fruit of the earth, asher tavi ma'artzecha, that you're going to bring from your land, asher Hashem Elokecha noten lach, v'samta patena, you should put it in a basket, והלכת אל המקום אשר יבחר השם אלוקיך לשכן שמו שם, and you should go to the place that Hashem your God will choose to have his name dwell there. So the very authoritative halachic Midrash Sifrei teaches that through the performing the mitzvah of Bikkurim, we will merit entering the land of Israel. So that's the question. Why is that the Netivot Shalom asks? And also he asks an additional question. Before we can even perform that mitzvah of Bikkurim, it was 14 years after we entered the land of Israel. The first 7 years were conquering it, and the second group of 7 years was to settle the land, and each person had to get his proper part of the land to be able to grow the fruits for first fruit offering Bikkurim. And he answers Netivot Shalom that this mitzvah of Bikkurim help us acquire the two main foundations of a Jew. And what are they? Kedusha, holiness, and Emunah, faith. So Emunah, what does that mean? It implies believing that only Hashem runs the world, and none of our own efforts, strength, or the might of our hands bring about anything without Hashem willing it. Kedusha is to subjugate our desires, our cravings, and hand over our enjoyments and lust to Hashem. When the temple will be rebuilt, B'ezrat Hashem, we will infuse ourselves with holiness, and then we will be able to infuse ourselves with holiness by overcoming and subjugating our desire to gobble up every fig without giving the first and the best to Hashem. Offering the first and the best to Hashem will ingrain Emunah that absolutely nothing can exist or grow without Hashem bringing it into creation. During our wandering in the wilderness, we by default acquired the two foundations of Kedusha and Emunah by quenching our thirst through the holy miraculous well of Miriam and receiving bread directly from heaven, the manna. Whereas regular food arouses lust, eating the manna directly from Hashem's hand imbued us with the highest holiness. The wilderness wandering experience, moreover, strengthened our emunah by imprinting within our consciousness how Hashem and no other than Hashem led us through individual providence. So through the mitzvah of Bikkurim, we enter the physical realm of the land while maintaining our levels of Emunah and Kedusha. So when we were on the verge of entering the land of Israel after coming out of the wilderness, we were afraid of losing our high levels of Kedusha and Emunah because now we were going to work within the physical realm to sustain ourselves. When doing all the work necessary to grow the fruits of the land, it would be much harder to maintain a clear belief that everything emanates from Hashem and not from the power of our hands. Therefore, Hashem gave us the mitzvah of Bikkurim to enable us to enter the land of Israel and be occupied in earthly pursuits while maintaining our level of Emunah and Kedusha. Although we work so hard, plowing, sowing, weeding, composting, etc., to see the fruit of our labor, the mitzvah of Bikkurim, offering the first fruits to Hashem, ensures that our emunah, that we don't believe that it is my strength and the might of my hand that has accumulated this wealth for me. Rather, we learn to believe from the mitzvah of Bikkurim that it's Hashem, our God, who gives us strength to make this wealth. And also our willingness to hand over to Hashem, this Bikkurim expresses that our lust to grab the first fruit for ourselves, which is naturally the object of our greatest desire, we're elevating that to the level of holiness. By maintaining Emunah and Kedusha through offering earthly goods to Hashem, we merit to enter the land of Israel. By means of the mitzvah of Bikkurim, we have the opportunity to strengthen our clarity of Emunah and sanctify ourselves in Kedusha while being involved in the way of the physical world. So there are two husks that are the opposite, corresponding to these two foundations of the Jewish people, and the proclamation that we do when we offer the firstborn fruits establishes the two foundational levels of the Jewish people and outdo the two opposing forces to Kedusha and Emunah. What do we say in this Bikkurim recital? You shall call out and say before Hashem your God, an Armenian sought to destroy my forefather, and he went down to Egypt and sojourned there with a small number of people, and there he became great, mighty, numerous nation. The Armenian refers to Lavan, who embodied the husk of heresy, Kfirah, which is the opposite of Emunah, as he claimed that everything belonged to himself rather than to Hashem, saying, the daughters are my daughters, and the sons are my sons, and the animals are my animals, and all that you see is mine, Bereshit 31:43. Therefore, we proclaim that Laban is destroyed and lost, as the word Oved, like in Arami, Oved Avi, can be understood not only to refer to Laban's desire to destroy Israel, but also to Laban's own destruction. Mentioning that we went down to Egypt refers to the husk of unholiness, as Egypt is known as for Egypt is known as the nakedness of the land, the source of unholy lust and cravings. These two, Emunah and Kedusha, are and the anti-Emunah and Kedusha of Laban, who opposes Emunah, and Egypt that opposes Kedusha are the worst husks from which Hashem redeemed us. They are diametrically opposed to the two main foundations of the Torah, Emunah and Kedusha. By the Bikkurim recital, we proclaim that we are handing over our desires to Hashem with steadfast Emunah. For everything is from Him and belongs to Him. Thus, through the power of the most uplifted holiness of the land of Israel, a Jew can elevate all earthly matters to Hashem. Therefore, the first word of Parashat Tavo is V'haya, it shall be. For the letters of this word spell out are the initials of Yismechu, Hashamayim, V'haaretz. The heaven will rejoice and the earth will exult. When a Jew elevates all the earthly, it arouses happiness above. This is the work of these days of Tshuva in the months of Elul, through which we Jews must elevate everything we have to Hashem. By means of this, we can establish when you enter the land, elevating the aspect of entering the land and the earthly to the source of holiness. And this is based on the Tivot Shalom on Parashat Tavo in the book of Devarim. Okay, now we're up to the EmunaHealing exercise for integrating the Emunah and Kedusha available in the land of Israel. Close your eyes and settle down on the ground or relax in your chair. Take several deep breaths and center yourself. Allow all thoughts to pass through you, noticing them without judgment. Tap into your ancestral memory. Imagine you're wandering in the wilderness together with your fellow Jews. As Hashem takes care of you, leads you through His cloud of glory and pillar of fire, and feeds you the ethereal manna, allow yourself to feel how you are completely enveloped by the emunah that everything is from Hashem. Enjoy this carefree feeling of letting go of all control to Hashem. All is God and God is all. You are part of this allness, this oneness as you glide through the desert following Hashem's lead. Imagine receiving the manna from heaven and ingesting this spiritually nurturing nourishment. You're completely free of any earthly cravings as you enjoy your divine meal. Can you feel how Kedusha enters you with every single bite? Revel in the holiness you experience within you, feeling light and illuminated. Soon, you will be leaving your safe and holy incubation and entering an earthly place where you will fight wars, till the earth, and be sustained by the fruits of your labor. Get in touch with the challenge of remembering that everything is Hashem, even as we employ our own effort to succeed. How can we maintain the clarity that it is Hashem and only Hashem who gives us strength to make wealth and succeed in any of our endeavors? Feel the tension and the challenge to recognize that no matter how wise and clever we are to produce successful results, the results are only due to Hashem. Allow yourself to experience the feeling of your earthly desires, like when munching on juicy grapes or a crisp steak or any other favorite food of yours. Imagine the feeling of wanting more and a challenge of eating slowly and chewing every bite. Recall that through the power of the most uplifted holiness of the land of Israel, that you can elevate all earthly matters to Hashem. Envision yourself being in the Holy Land of Israel right now. Visualize the rolling hills, the intensity of the blueness of the sky, and the beauty of the fruits of the land. Breathe all of this beauty through which the physical and the spiritual realm unites. Breathe it in. The physical land of Israel is imbued with holiness. In Israel, every rock and pebble, every grain of sand, every drop of dew is holy. Breathe into the notion that in the land of Israel, you can elevate the physical realm to be included in the spiritual. Recite the first word of Parashat Tavo, V'haya, and it shall be. Recite it softly, V'haya. Barely audible. This word is the initials of Yishmechu HaShamayim V'Tagil HaAretz. The earth will rejoice and the desert will exult. Tap into the unity between heaven and earth that can be experienced in the land of Israel. Breathe into it and get in touch with your desire to truly live a life of holiness and faith in the land of Israel. You may open your eyes when you're ready to return to your reality wherever you are now.